All right, today we're cracking open a real cold case. I'm talking a literary mystery that's thousands of years old. We're going to go on the hunt for the anonymous author of this ancient text, a book that's shaped history for millennia. Our goal? Let's see if we can unmask the person who wrote it.
So, what book are we talking about? It's 2 Chronicles. And its author? Pretty much a ghost. There's no name on the cover, no signature, nothing. Just the words themselves and, centuries of tradition. So the big question is, can we really piece together the clues to figure out who wrote this epic history? Well, let's find out. Okay, first things first, let's get some context. This book, it isn't just a random collection of stories. No way. It's a huge, sweeping national epic. It covers everything from the glory days of King Solomon's temple to the tragic split of the kingdom and the entire history of Judah, all the way up to that devastating exile in Babylon. I mean, we're talking incredible highs and just soul-crushing lows. It's really setting the stage for a message of both crisis and hope. Every good mystery has to have a prime suspect, right? Well, for centuries, tradition has pointed the finger at one guy, a priest and a scribe named Ezra. So let's go ahead and open up his case file. So who was this guy, Ezra? I mean, if you look at his resume, it's pretty much perfect for the job. He was a priest, so he had that deep theological knowledge. He was a scribe, which means he was a master of the written word. And here's the kicker. He had both motive and opportunity. He lived through the exile and was a major leader when the people returned to Jerusalem. Seriously, right place, right time, with exactly the right skills. Okay, so having a suspect is a great start, but we need evidence, right? Real evidence. So let's dig into the book of 2nd Chronicles itself and see what clues we can uncover. So when you actually read 2 Chronicles, a really clear profile of the authors starts to take shape. This person, whoever they were, had an incredible eye for detail. I mean, meticulous. They were also theologically super sharp, weaving these deep spiritual insights all through the history. And on top of that, they were a brilliant editor, skillfully pulling together info from all these different sources into one single cohesive story. And this is where the pieces really start to click into place. The profile we just built of the chronicler, it's like a mirror image of everything we know about Ezra. His own book, the Book of Ezra, shows he was super detailed, theologically on point, and a fantastic writer. The similarities, they're just uncanny. It honestly feels like we're describing the exact same person. And the connection? It gets even stronger when you start looking at the language itself. Scholars have actually identified what you could call a unique linguistic fingerprint. We're talking a shared writing style, vocabulary, even grammar that runs across Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah. It's a huge clue that strongly suggests a single author was behind the whole shebang. Okay, now for what might be the most compelling piece of evidence of all, the smoking gun. Check this out. The book of 2 Chronicles ends with the official decree from King Cyrus that lets the Jewish people return from exile. So how does the very next book, the book of Ezra, begin? You guessed it, with the exact same decree, almost word for word. It's like the author was intentionally building a bridge, directly linking these 2 books together into one continuous story. It's pretty amazing. So it's gotta be Ezra, right? Case closed. Well, not so fast. Even with all this really compelling evidence, a lot of modern scholars are like, hang on a second, and they argue the case isn't quite as locked shut as it seems. And to kind of reflect that uncertainty, a lot of scholars today just call the author the chronicler. It's basically a way of acknowledging this unique voice and perspective of the writer, without making a definitive claim about who they were that we just can't fully prove. And really, here's the bottom line. For all the evidence that points straight to Ezra, there is no verse anywhere in the Bible that just comes out and says, hey, Ezra wrote Chronicles. And without that direct confirmation, what we have is a really, really compelling case. But it's all circumstantial evidence. It's not absolute proof. So officially, this case is still unsolved. But maybe focusing so much on who wrote it makes us miss the bigger point. Maybe the more important question is why it was written in the first place. When we shift our focus to the chronicler's legacy, it reveals this much deeper purpose that's powerful no matter what the author's name was. Yeah, it doesn't really matter who the author was because their purpose was crystal clear. First, they wanted their readers to see God's unwavering faithfulness, especially when it came to his promise to King David. Second, they wanted them to really understand their own history, the good, the bad, all the stuff that led them into exile. And finally, they wanted them to get their heads around their role in God's much bigger plan of redemption for the whole world. I mean, you've got to put yourself in the shoes of the original audience. These were people who were just picking up the pieces. They were finally back in their homeland after decades in exile, and they were trying to rebuild everything: their temple, their city, their entire national identity. So this book, it was this incredible source of encouragement. It was a reminder of God's faithfulness in the past, giving them every reason to trust Him for their future. So, in the end, the chronicler's name might be lost to time, but their work absolutely endures. And it leaves us with this final question, something to really chew on. Does a story's power really depend on us knowing who the author was? Or can the message itself be so powerful that it completely transcends the messenger? That's something to think about. Thanks for jumping into this mystery with me.